This has a feeling of a really, really big game. It is always a big game when Tottenham and Liverpool go head-to-head.
It's tough at Tottenham away. Liverpool know they can't afford another slip. Ball for Robertson. He'll stand up for Szoboszlai. And there's Alexi McAllister. Look at the runners Liverpool have. It's Szoboszlai, and he has a goal. It's Andrew Robertson. What's he doing there? Diogo Jota, goal.
Gakpo trying to turn.
Oh, does brilliantly. Salah, brilliant goal for Liverpool. Oh, that's it. They've got a sixth goal now in a crazy old game in North London.
A rejuvenated Reds and a regressing Spurs side collide in this evening's Premier League clash at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arne Slot's side endeavour to extend this unbeaten run to what would be 6 games in all competitions, whereas the Lily Whites, they risk a record-setting home defeat in this final fixture before Christmas. Liverpool are down in the capital this evening, taking on Tottenham. It is the 5:30 kickoff this Saturday evening, and we are live with our build-up until then, at which point we will bring you full and uninterrupted audio commentary on LFC TV and All Red Video as well. Welcome along. Gary Gillespie and Jason McAteer are alongside me here in the studio. We will hear from them in just a moment. We will also hear from Ray Houghton very soon, who is in North London with our reporter Matt Smith. We can cross to Matt now down at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Matt, good evening.
Hello, Becky. Hello, Jason, Gary and everybody watching from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which, as we all know by now, is splendid in terms of a setting for a game of football. Crowd already here in good numbers, but you can already tell there's a kind of fragile, almost kind of edgy feeling from the Spurs fans in particular, because they've not had hardly anything to shout about, particularly here at home. It's quite an odd state of affairs, really, for Thomas Frank's team, who've been at times pretty effective on the road, but almost never very convincing here. And Liverpool will hope clearly to take full advantage of that. They are somewhere along that corner, that bend towards a better standard of football from Arne Slot's team, that's for sure, in recent weeks. And if they can win here, they'd go level on points at least with Chelsea in 4th. So that wouldn't half feel better, I'm sure, heading into Christmas, with just one more game, of course, in this calendar year after tonight's game. We'll obviously hear very shortly about Liverpool's starting 11 here, and in due course talk about what Thomas Frank feels is the best way to get the result here. But I think it's definitely a moment for Liverpool to try and grasp the nettle and show everybody that's watching and all around the world that they have put the last few weeks firmly behind them. They will come here, I think, more in expectation than hope that, particularly if they can make the right start, they can take all 3 points home and into Christmas.
Much indeed, Matt. We will be back with him very shortly, joined by Ray Houghton in a few minutes' time. But first, it's a warm welcome to you two. The final game before Christmas. You in the festive spirit yet, Jace?
Sweet. Well, I'm getting there, Bex. Yeah, I'm getting there.
I think our tree is, that's got to get you in the festive spirit.
Yeah, it's like yourself, it's beautiful.
Oh,
Our 3 points would be a nice Christmas present as well. So hopefully the boys perform today. But I'm looking forward to it, yeah. Nice run of games as well over Christmas and New Year. So hopefully we will be in a good
festive
cheer.
spirits,
yeah.
Gary. That's what we want.
Yeah, I think Matt made like a good point there. Like, had this game come about a month ago, then you would have probably thinking like, there's a little bit of questions about like, but having won or like been undefeated in the last 5 games going into this game, I think we have a little bit more confidence. I think the team looks a little bit more settled now, and performances in recent games have been good. So, and a couple of clean sheets as well. So, yeah, I think going down here against a Spurs side who, a bit like ourselves, started the season really, really well, but have gradually fallen away and struggled here for some reason at home. I think it's 4 wins in some like 17 games all told in Premier League this year. So it's a great opportunity for Liverpool to close that gap at the top.
Yeah, I was going to say, it does feel like an opportunity, because even though it is an away game, because of Spurs' such poor record at home, it's only 2 wins in the Premier League this season, Jay. So it feels like, as Matt kind of touched on there, Tottenham are almost the story tonight because of the pressure that's on Thomas Frank, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on. But not so much pressure at all on Liverpool going into this one.
No, there's been a lot of rumours and speculation, hasn't it, over the past couple of weeks, certainly after the Forest game last week. You know, the pressure has certainly ranked up on Thomas Frank, and, you know, he's still yet to win the fans over. He's had a good campaign so far in the Champions League, only 1 defeat to Paris, but it doesn't seem to have brought him much credit. At home, you know, it's a tough crowd to please, as Jose will tell you and Nuno will tell you. It's a very sort of needy club. They want that success, don't they? And, you know, the fans demand it, and he just hasn't really got it going, certainly at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Away from home, it's been a different story for them. They've done okay, but I think what they're struggling with is finding an identity. They want that all singing, all dancing brand of football, but Thomas Frank's not quite that character, is he? You know, if you look at his Brentford team, they are quite pragmatic and, you know, defend really well, which he's done. You know, he's done quite well with Tottenham, but they want to see a more progressive football. They want to see more action and more goals. I
think it just emphasises the difference between managing a top club like Tottenham, and no disrespect to Brentford, but like a team like Brentford, where, you know, 1 win in like 5 games is quite acceptable at Brentford with the expectation level of the fans. But 1 win in like 5 at Tottenham with the expectation of fans is not quite good enough.
No, it's not. To bring it back to Liverpool quickly before we get the team news, not had 3 back-to-back wins since September, Jace, believe it or not. So if they win tonight, would you feel like the door was pretty much almost shut on that?
I was thinking, do you know, I was looking at it today. I think it's one of them glass half fulls, isn't it? Is it half full or half empty with Liverpool? You can, and how you frame it as well. I mean, Gary touched on it there. 5 games now without defeat, 3 clean sheets. There's green shoots, isn't there? You can see some really good football being played at times. But then if your glass is half empty, you can pick the bones out of each performance and think, oh, slightly lucky there. Oh, Brighton could have had a couple last weekend. Oh, this has happened, that's happened. And are we turning that corner? But I'm going to go glass half full.
Good, that's what we want.
Yeah, I think we are moving in the right direction. There's a bit of identity coming. There's a couple of players now finding a bit of form and settling down. Ekitike is one of them. Verts is starting to show a bit of quality. You know, the team's taking shape. And obviously, you know, Mo Salah going as well, everything will quieten down with that kind of thing going on as well behind the scenes. So yeah, listen, it's a good run of games. Like I mentioned, Tottenham today at home is a really big opportunity for Liverpool to take 3 points.
Okay, thank you both. Let's head back now to the stadium to get news of the Liverpool lineup. We will hear from Ray Houghton in just a second. First though, Matt Smith has got the details of the Liverpool starting 11. Matt?
I do indeed, Becky. Yes, Ray alongside me, but let me give you, without further ado, that Liverpool team. There is just the one change, and in effect enforced from that win against Brighton a week ago. Conor Bradley returns to Liverpool's lineup. Joe Gomez, of course, who picked up that injury last week, unavailable. And so Liverpool's team is Alisson, Van Dijk, Konate, Kerkez and Wirtz, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Bradley, Jones, Ekitike and Gravenberch. That clearly is the team in numerical order rather than formation order. We will work out, as you will, in due course, exactly what it looks like. But it looks very much, Ray Houghton, like the team from last week, other than the enforced change with Bradley for Gomez.
I think if Gomez was fit, he probably would have played as well. I think the manager's, you know, got a team in a system that's working well for him at the moment. It was a good victory against Brighton. I thought it was a very good performance, professional performance. You know, got the goals at the right time. Another clean sheet, which is important as well for confidence. And got to build on it. And this is an opportunity here against Spurs. Spurs are one of those sides that you never know what you're going to get from them. You know, one week they can be excellent, next week they're not so good. And I was a bit like that when I was coming to the stadium today. There's a lot of the Tottenham fans talking like that. They were just wondering what the scoreline would be today because they know Liverpool just starting to hit a bit of form at the moment.
Yes, and we could have said not quite sure which team we're going to get from Liverpool until perhaps a couple of weeks ago when they've settled things down. And I guess continuity in selection maybe gives the manager that little bit of sense of purpose and direction.
And the other thing as well, Matt, is we've had a free week. You know, prior to that, you're obviously playing Saturday or Sunday, then midweek, whether it be in the cup match or Champions League matches, and then you know the manager has to look at the squad that he's got and prioritise certain games for certain players. Whereas with that free week now, you could give some of the players a much needed rest. Others would have needed some good training, you know, and get some energy into the legs as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they start the game today. But looking at the side and where they are positionally at the moment, I think the manager overall will be pleased. They had their blip. I think they're through that now. But they've got to build on it brick by brick.
Yeah. I guess when you're in a rut, the first thing to do is stop the bleeding, and they've done that.
Yeah.
And as you say, a couple of clean sheets, very important. From that then becomes consistency, continuity, and then the next step, playing with that little bit more control and finding a way to get your front players the opportunities.
Yeah, but I think when you look at the new players that have come to the club, they're starting to find their feet.
Yeah.
I mean, Ekitike, he's done it all season.
He has.
Since he started the season. I mean, he hit the ground running. And you look at the goals he got against Leeds and the goals against Brighton, he's in fine form at the moment. You know, he's got a real confidence and a belief in his ability in front to go. But Kirkish, that was his best game against Brighton. You know, he had to man-mark his winger. It was a little bit tough in the early stages of the game, but the longer the game went on, the better he become throughout the time he was on the pitch. And, you know, you've got a good backup in Robbo when needed. You know, them two are vying for that left-back position at the moment. Kirkish is obviously uppermost in the manager's mind because he's started against Brighton and starting again today. But yeah, I think continuity is a good word to use, because when you're playing together, and I know it's only three of the back four because Joe's out and Connor's come in, but the players know each other's game now. Kirkish is understanding where he should be for Virgil in that left-hand side of the pitch. I feel a little bit sorry for Ibu because, you know, I think last week he had three different partners against Brighton.
Yeah.
You know, you started off with Joe, and then I think Curtis went back there and Dominic went back there. And, you know, when you've not had the greatest start to the season, and he'll be the first to say that, but I thought he played well in the game against Brighton and just needs a bit of continuity in that area of the field as well.
And maybe with the extra midfielder, if you will, obviously you're part of the pitch, does that give the platform to Florian Wirtz to really start to show us what he can do?
I said last week after the game against Brighton, Florian to me at the moment is the difference between night and day. You know, I think when he came in he was a little bit lightweight in possession of the ball, he was getting knocked off too easily. I don't know if he's bulked up or he's learned that he's got to be stronger in possession of the ball, but the change in the last few games has been absolutely incredible. Delighted for him. Yeah. He looks like he's playing with a smile on his face now. You know, maybe that price tag isn't as worrying as it once was. All he needs to do now is start hitting the back of the net, and once he does that, the Liverpool fans will be absolutely delighted. I think what they've seen in the last few matches they're more than happy with.
Yeah, and I mentioned it, you sense, as you mentioned about the journey in, there's a bit of a nervousness, isn't there? They haven't had a lot to shout about here. Let's keep it that way.
It's quiet here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very quiet. I mean, acoustically, this is a great stadium. It keeps the noise in, and, you know, when things are going well, the Tottenham fans certainly get behind the team, but they know that they're in a rough patch at the moment. You know, the last game against Forest, where they lost 3-0, where apparently they were really, really poor. You know, some of my mates are season ticket holders, and they weren't too happy. They go both home and away, and they weren't too happy with the performance at all. So you would imagine today the Tottenham players are going to have a mindset about them, come out here and try and put on a show in front of the home supporters, but that's easier said than done. You have to go out there and produce it, and they've not done it consistently all season.
Yeah, lovely stuff. We'll get more from Ray on that Spurs team that Thomas Frank has selected in due course, but it is quiet at the moment. Hopefully it's a bit noisy soon after 5:30 from a Liverpool point of view.
I'm sure it will liven up quite significantly in North London over the course of the next hour. Let's get your thoughts on the team. Just the one change. Connor Bradley comes in for Joe Gomez. Gary, not too many surprises in that starting 11, I don't think.
I think it speaks for itself, doesn't it? I think most people before the game would have probably picked that side. I don't think there's too many other decisions that the manager could have made. One thing that you would say, like, our bench is maybe looking a little bit thin at this moment in time with a few injuries, and obviously Mohamed Salah being away at the African Cup of Nations. So yes, as I say, I think it looks quite a settled side at this moment in time, which I think is doing the likes of Wirtz and the likes of Ekitike and Kirk the world of good, to be quite honest with you. So hopefully see the best of them. I think we're just beginning to see what Wirtz can offer, like in our formation and our setup at this moment in time. So, and Ekitike has been the one real, shining light with the amount of goals that he scored. He's into double figures now for the season, so hopefully that can continue. Yeah,
we'll speak about Hugo Ekitike in just a moment. A word for Connor Bradley. It's a timely return after his one-match suspension. Just obviously very unfortunate that Joe Gomez picks up another injury, and once again frustration for him, but an opportunity, of course, for Connor at the same time. And Jeremy Frimpong, who's back in the squad as well.
Yeah, when Trent Alexander-Arnold left the football club, obviously we all knew all about Connor Bradley, didn't we? And we knew that he was going to be the one that slotted in. I think everyone's concern was, can he stay fit? Can he, have a prolonged run in the team? Can he settle really quickly, strike that relationship up with Mo Salah and players alongside him, whether it's Konate or whoever it may be. But unfortunately that just hasn't been the case. He's picked up little niggling injuries, and then he gets suspended again, didn't he? So I think it would be really nice now if he can stay in the team, stay fit, stay away from injury. But like Gary, we were just talking as we were listening to Ray, there's a lot of games now in January, so he is one of them players I think that's going to need to be managed because of his injury record. But it'd be nice if he just stays fit and then gets in the team, strikes up these relationships. And Gary just mentioned it, it's nice to see a team that is being picked now, that is similar, and we're seeing the same faces, and relationships are getting forged, and the play, like Verta benefiting from that, Ekitike. And I was saying to Gary, I read something last week that there was 19 changes in the last 8 games before Brighton. That's a lot of tinkering by the manager, and it's very difficult to strike up them relationships. So it is nice to see a bit of consistency in team selection, and the likes of Connor, nice to see him back in the team.
Yeah, there he is, taking it in the surroundings of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium alongside Ryan Gravenberch and Alisson. Both of those start this afternoon. Let's touch on Hugo Ekitike. You touched on him briefly before, Gary, but that performance against Brighton, I mean, he was absolutely spent by the end of the game, wasn't it? The 78 minutes, I think, that he played. But fastest goal this season. And it was not just his goals, was it? But the work rate that he puts in as well is something that I think people really, really notice about him.
Well, I think the one thing that is a given is like if you want to play for Liverpool, you've got to work hard, and you've got your defensive duties to do as well. He is the front man. He is the front line of defence as such, closing people down. And Liverpool did that exceptionally well against Brighton early on in the game. And that's how their first goal comes. I mean, he's all over the pitch, to be quite honest with you. I think he's not really a recognised number 9 as such. I think he can drop deep. He can be like a number 10 as well. And we've obviously seen him in a defensive role as well. I mean, there you go. That's like your centre forward picking the ball up more or less, only about 30 yards inside his own half. And then he's got the legs, and he's got the pace and the vision to get into the opposition's 18-yard box and pick the right pass. And really, Liverpool should have probably made a little bit more of that than maybe what they did do. But he's certainly been the shining light of the new signing so far. And plus, what is good about Liverpool as well at this moment in time, he's obviously got the instruction, go there out on the pitch, run yourself into the ground, because we obviously know we've got a £125 million player on the bench and Alexander-Isak to come on, so it all bodes well for Liverpool.
To crunch some numbers on him, Jace, 7 goals in his first 10 Premier League starts. Only Daniel Sturridge got off to a better start for Liverpool. It's 0.7 goals per 90. That equates to a goal every 125 minutes. The boss in his press conference said he hadn't surpassed their expectations, such as the extent of the research that they do on their players, but probably surpassed the expectations of supporters, I would think, so far. I
think we need to recognise as well, Liverpool haven't been in great form. I think it's fair to say that. It's been a very, very difficult start to the season, testing time. But just to touch on what Gary was saying about him, I think he needs a real pat on the back for. He's not shied away from the challenge. It's kind of like he's got on the pitch and he wants to make things happen. It's like, I'm not frightened of giving it away. I don't care what's going on behind the scenes and all the noise. I'm going to graft for the team, and I'm going to really have a go, try and score the goals, get us back, into winning positions and real, put in a real shift. He's come for £79 million. He's not come to sit on the bench. And Alexander-Isak has come in. I've said plenty of times, there is sympathy for him, because everyone just thinks Isak, because the price tag is maybe a little bit higher, because we're more accustomed to seeing him in the Premier League, and he comes with a big reputation. He's instantly going to start. I think Hugo Ekitike has actually looked at the situation and thought, I don't want to sit on the bench, and I'm going to push him all the way. And how I can do that is put a shift in. I can work hard, and obviously the goals will come off the back of that, and they have. 7 goals in, what was it, 10? What did you say?
Yeah.
So his record is fantastic, and to be fair, with them kind of numbers, you should be getting picked.
Yeah.
So fair play to the manager, you know, he's picked him on performance.
Well, speaking of numbers, we've got stats comparing this season to last season, which of course was spent in the Bundesliga. It's 15 goals in the Bundesliga last season, so he's very much on target, you would think, to match or maybe even better that. One thing that was spoken about when he signed was when there's an opportunity, Gary does like to shoot. Those 15 goals came from 75 shots, which was at a conversion rate of 20% in the Bundesliga. So far, as we say, 7 from 30 in the Premier League. So it's an improvement. He's up to 23%, but maybe the accuracy, if you want to pick apart, it slightly might need a little bit of fine-tuning.
Yeah, I mean, it's early days. It's difficult to compare, isn't it? I mean, you're like comparing one league to another league, and it's like, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that, to be quite honest with you. It's a whole different ball game when you're playing in the Premier League against Premier League opposition as opposed to the Bundesliga. But listen, I think Liverpool fans saw more or less from like the day one, like when he came into the side, the quality and the ability he has, and if he can show that through the course of the season and like match the stats and the numbers that he's had like last season in the Bundesliga, then I think Liverpool fans will be more than happy with his signing. The thing I like about him much more than like his goals is like his all-round ability and his all-round game. I think he's very much a team player. He's very much a guy that sees a lot of like things early on as well. So he's not all about goals. It's about assists as well as goals, and I think he's been a real plus this season.
He starts this afternoon, Hugo Ekitike, as does Curtis Jones. It's been just over a year that Curtis Jones last started 4 games in a row for the Reds, but with his start today, he has done just that. Speaking to us on Friday, the Scouser is ready to battle to keep this Reds revival going.
Well, Curtis, after what was a really intense period of games, you've had a full week between these games. How's that been? Do you feel fit and refreshed and ready to go again tomorrow now?
Yeah, 100%. As you just said then, it's important that we had our week down. You know, I've had a chance to have a look back on the games and stuff that we done well and the stuff that we need to make a change on. So yeah, it'd be good to see how it comes out in this game.
There's been obviously a big improvement in performances and results recently. Is there a kind of growing confidence in the dressing room that you're kind of back to somewhere approaching, not your best, but kind of getting there in terms of that?
Yeah, well, the confidence was always there. I wouldn't say that it left. I say all the time that if I ever look around, the talent around me, you know, you just always have that buzz that you can't wait to go and play with them lads. And at the end of the day, you know, it's been the first time since I've been around the first team that, you know, that we've had a dip in form. But I would say that the past games obviously show that the connection is there, that we're starting to gel again as a team, about how hard that we're working, the goals that we're scoring. So yeah, there's that buzz. Yeah, I feel that the buzz is around the place again. But at the same time, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I feel that it's just each game as it comes, and I think that that's what we've done well. Especially when we'd had a little bit of a dip, that it was just taking the small steps. I just feel now we're at the point to where we're playing well, the energy is there, the buzz is there. So let's just go and win each game that we can, but don't think too far ahead. Just take it of each game. So yeah, I'm happy that I'm part of the team, and again, as I said, you know, it's, you know, with the trust of the gaffer and his staff, and you know, the playing me in a role that I feel that it suits me, and actually the little bit of the change, I think that it suits the team more. So it's credit to obviously them, and credit to the boys around who obviously are making the change as well.
You just mentioned the little changes there recently in the shape and stuff. How have you found that, and how has that changed what the manager is asking of you?
At the end of the day, as everybody knows, I just want the ball at my feet. As long as I've got a ball at my feet, I'm happy. So yeah, we've obviously made a change. Everybody can see where, you know, in the middle it's overloaded with lads that are technically good, that can make the change, that are comfortable on the ball. Then obviously you've got the likes of Flo, we can obviously play in between the lines, that can score, can create, and all things like that. But yeah, the connection that I'm making now more with the likes of Ryan and stuff. About how we play, you know, we're similar in a way that we're comfortable on the ball, and we can drop and we can get on the ball, and we're not in a rush just to get rid of it. And yeah, we can calm the game down. I feel for a long time that if you have a look at our games, a big thing of why we lost and we dropped points was because we entered and we didn't really have a control in the game. And I feel that that's a strength of mine, that I can get on the ball, that, you know, I can calm it down. And you know, there's obviously been stuff in the past where fans have said that I'm holding on into the ball for too long, but I think they're starting to see now that that's what the game actually needs at times. So yeah, I just feel that, you know, if we're up a goal or two and anything like that, I feel that it's on me even more so to go and get the ball off the lads and just to calm it down and let the opposition think that they don't have a way back into the game. And yeah, the more they play and the fitter they get and the rhythms there, the more the connections that I build even more with the likes of Ryan and stuff. Yeah, you know, you'll start to see us gel even more and play better as a whole, I'd say.
And just finally, Tottenham have had a bit of a inconsistent first bit of the season as well, but it's always a test going there, isn't it? So what kind of game are you expecting tomorrow?
At the end of the day, it's still a world-class team. It's a team that plays in the Premier League, so I don't think there's any team in the Prem that, you know, that you turn up and think, oh yeah, I've just got all points and then you know, we're just going to leave and we're just going to have a laugh and a joke. So I don't really want to think about their form and anything like that. You know, there's obviously been teams that are in a worse place than them and we've dropped points against them. So that's just how the Premier League is. But you know, I can only speak on us and how well that we're doing and the connections that we've obviously built in the team, and it looks like the team is starting to obviously gel and it's starting to actually click. So yeah, we're going there with a positive mind frame and just to make sure that we find a way out to win, and that's what we are trying to go and do.
And they will try and do that tonight against Tottenham Hotspur in North London. He's in the lineup today, Gary, after 3 starts, but 3 really good performances as well. The boss said in his press conference it's the first time that he's seen him while he's been at the club show such consistency. But he's the kind of player that thrives on that regular involvement, isn't he?
Been brilliant. I think really has been one of the keys to make the difference in that deeper lying midfield role. Which has allowed Alexi McAllister to maybe move a little bit further forward and play in like a more advanced role, and I think it's freed up Ryan Gravenberch as well. The one thing that you would say about like Curtis Jones, technically he's very, very gifted. We see like in tight situations like the Liverpool players, and you know, like there's no fear about giving him the ball. He's quite comfortable to look after the ball, protect the ball, and that really suits a defensive midfield player, a sitting midfield player. I think he's been really, really good, and Liverpool, I wouldn't say I've maybe stumbled upon like the change in formation with him, but it certainly worked for the team, and as I say, I think it makes Liverpool a better unit. Hopefully he can keep it going. He's one of these young players that have come through like the academy, and at academy level he was exceptional. He was head and shoulders above everybody. And then obviously when you step up into the first team, it becomes a little bit more difficult to like stamp your authority on like on games. There's only certain individuals can do it. Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, maybe like Steven Gerrard, and Jason well, maybe not Jason McAvoy, but there's only certain players that can do it, and he probably wasn't one of them. So just now that you can sense that he's beginning to establish himself and feel that like sense of authority and possession of the football, and I think Liverpool will benefit from that big time for the rest of the season. I
think this adversity, what's happened to the team and the club, I reckon he's really hurting from it. And I reckon, because I can be critical of Curtis sometimes because he's got so much ability. He can stay in the shadows and he can just play within himself. Sometimes he's on the ball a little bit too long. Sometimes he gets it, just goes short a little bit when there might be a better pass on, or he could be a bit more extravagant with the ball because he's got that quality, but he doesn't. He plays safe a little bit. I think in this adversity, he's actually turned around and gone, do you know what? I actually need to step up here, and I've got to be who I am, really. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to play. And I think there's 3 games. I think Gary's right. I think he's really flourished in this moment. It's not a moment we want the club to be in and we want to be here. But I think in this adversity, he's one that's really shone. No,
it's a really interesting point, that, because he was one of the most vocal members of the squad to kind of come out and say how determined he was to try and solve the issues. And I think when you come and speak out like that, you've got to put the performances to back it up, and he absolutely has done that, Gary.
Yeah, I think like Jason's actually got a really good point that he's basically stepped out of the shadows, isn't he? Like I think he's recognised now that he is a big voice in the dressing room. He's become a senior player. He's been there an awful long time, and I think he's found his voice, not just on the pitch but like in the dressing room as well, and I think that bodes well for Liverpool.
Do you know what? I thought he really spoke well. I think he speaks well anyway, but again, I think sometimes his interviews are a bit like that in the shadows kind of thing. He says what you want to hear sometimes. But then about 3 weeks ago, a month ago?
He spoke with a lot of passion.
He spoke with a lot of passion, and it was like, okay then, let's see you back it up. Then his performance has backed it up, and I've just listened to him in his interview there, and I was kind of a bit like, go on.
Yeah.
Like, I like that about
fans
you know?
like to hear those kind of interviews.
It was the honesty in it, and it was like, I'm up for the challenge. Listen, we're clicking a little bit, and everything was positive about it. And listen, you know, us sitting here on the outside of the ropes, we can have a different perspective what goes on the inside. I mean, you're around the training ground, so you can see it as well. You know, he's actually spoke there with the feeling that it is clicking, and they believe it as well. You know, I really believed what he said there, so fair play to him.
OK, gets another start tonight, Curtis Jones. We are going to hear now from a man who's featured for both sides on the show today. Granted, he is definitely more red than Tottenham. How does Danny Murphy see the clash at the Spurs stadium playing out? Matt Smith caught up with him a little bit earlier on to find out.
Well, if it's Spurs-Liverpool, who else? Who better to talk to than the man alongside me who represented both with honour? Welcome, Mr Murphy, who I'm sure will be as impressed as I am. Won't be your first time here, but what do you see in these two teams at the moment?
Well, I see a Spurs side struggling at home. I know they won the game against, I think it was Brentford recently, but the confidence has gone from them at home. The lack of creativity is evident. I know they've got Kulusevski missing, Maddison, Solanke, which doesn't help. And we see a Liverpool side who seems to have found their feet again. A little bit more confidence, much better defensively, got to say that. Who need to keep winning games to push themselves back up there. So it's a massive game for both. Arguably a bigger game for Thomas Frank with the discontent around the stadium and some of the fans, you know, not sure whether he's the man.
Yeah.
But for Liverpool, more of the same, really.
Yeah, so would you maybe say there's a fragility about both teams? So one gets their nose in front here, it could turn for either team, couldn't it?
There's certainly a fragility about Spurs, and yes, of course, you could argue Liverpool have shown a lot of fragility in recent months, but the last couple of weeks they've dug in at times, even when they've been under the cosh, you know, thinking of the Brighton game at home where they put their bodies on the line and defended reasonably well. I know they gave a couple of chances up, but you can't call it, can you? Because we don't really know still what Liverpool we're going to get. And Tottenham are capable of causing problems to anyone when they're at it. So, you know, what did we get last year? Was it 6-3, 6-2? I was here, actually. I mean, if we have that amount of goals again, we're all in for a good day, aren't we?
Well, as long as there's 6 for the right team, we'll let you make your own minds about
it. Well, of course, we both agree on that one.
As a midfielder, I'd like to get his head up and see the pitch. What about Florian Wirtz? Is it coming?
He looks better. I mean, when I watched him at the beginning of the season, you still see those magic moments, the vision, the great feet, the awareness. He's a player you enjoy watching. I think in the last few weeks, physically he looks sharper. He looks more confident. He's a wonderful player. I don't think anyone can doubt that. It's just where he fits in to this team. You know, does he play off the left more? Is he going to go back to playing him as a 10 at some point? The reality is he needs a little bit of luck to go his way in terms of some goals and assists, which he should have had anyway. I mean, some of the misses from some of his passes have been awful, and then he's had a few chances himself, but he's getting better, and I'd pay to watch him. He's a wonderful player who sees things that others don't, and hopefully we see that today.
Enjoy the game.
I will.
And if we get the game that Danny thinks we're going to get, we'll all enjoy our Christmas dinner, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, that's right. It is time now for viewers on social media to leave us, but our Matchday Live build-up will continue right here on LFC TV and All Red Video as well. If you are not yet a subscriber of either of those, then you can find details right now of how to sign up online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. And there's plenty more to come as well in our pre-match show this afternoon too. Coming up, we will hear from Arne Slot in his pre-match press conference, and we'll run the Rule 2 over the opposition this afternoon. At kick-off, Steve Hunter and Sammy Lee is here alongside him to guide you through all the action with our live audio commentary service. Then after full-time, Sammy will be back in the studio alongside Jason to assess events down in the capital. That post-match show as well, also available to listen to in The Reaction later on. That is the club's official podcast. You can watch the full game on LFC TV from 6 p.m. on Sunday as well. We'll revisit all the key moments from today in the Premier League review show on Monday from 6 o'clock as well.
Yeah, send me.
Don't cheat, eh? Hey, he's cheating.
First of all, you notice how incredible work people are doing over here and how brave the children are.
See kids is always a joy for us, and I know we can spread good energy, good vibes, love to them.
Beautiful. Thank you. With my own little girl, and seeing how much help that they actually give as well is, you know, it's huge.
This is because of you.
Still, obviously, it's tough to hear certain stories, but we know what it could bring if we are here.